And we are live. Welcome everybody again. Another open bar. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing good, doing great for a Tuesday. Like I always say, I'm unable to have a bad day, and that is true. It doesn't mean bad things throughout the day doesn't happen to me, but it doesn't make my day bad.
There you go. That's a fantastic attitude. Yeah, it's been so weird out here in Philly. It's been like 90 degrees the past 2 days, which is
Mm,
like completely out of the blue. And they in my apartment building, they were just switching over from the heat to the AC specifically for that reason because this just came out of nowhere and it was insufferable on Monday.
I
But
bet, yeah, because that region, I lived just south of Pittsburgh back in 2010, 2009 to 2012, and yeah, that would be cause for concern in that area. 90 degrees. It's not even 90 degrees here in North Carolina.
yeah, no, it was wild. Like I work with a lot of people out of Georgia, and even for them, it wasn't that warm. So, but fortunately, we go down tomorrow, so not going to be a huge deal. But anyways, let's get to the topic here, and
Sure.
just to let everybody know, if you do want to hop in, I'm going to go ahead and post the link to that. This is open bar. Open bar is meant for anybody to come on and talk about anything. The main thing I wanted to talk about, though, at least the first piece,
Mm.
Kevin, how do you date in 2024 in today's current dating marketplace?
Oh, well, for me, I mean, we've talked about this before. We've known each other for a long time. I no longer use apps. I no longer use the internet. I don't even answer DMs when they come to me from people I don't know or females I don't know. It's all organic. I've been able to really get past any fears of rejection or any fears of objection from just walking up, sparking up a conversation with a female, whether it be in the grocery store, whether it be at gym. And if we hit it off and I can read the vibe, I'll ask her out. And that's how I get most of my dates.
Hmm. Okay, that's interesting. You said at the gym?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At the gym all the
Really?
time.
You haven't seen all those TikToks of people getting shamed for approaching women at the gym?
I don't know where the gyms are. You don't see much of that at the gyms I go to. I actually, since I have such a commute to work, I work out at one close to my office and one close to my house where I live, and it's kind of a tight knit thing. So you see a lot of the same people. So the thing about it is, with those people trying to catch clout, most of them get shot down anyways. Here's what I always say to guys, because guys come to me all the time, especially in our group. Is it creepy to talk to girls at the gym? It's like talking to a girl at the gym. Why would talking to a girl at the gym be creepy? It's what you say that can be creepy. If you go up there and you just have a genuine conversation with them, most of them appreciate it and invite that. But if you go up there and say, "Hey, I like the way your ass crack looks in those legging shorts," that might be a little bit creepy. So yeah, talking to someone at the gym is not creepy, but what you say could be creepy.
Yeah, and how you say it as well. Like it really is that simple. It's like how you say things really determines what the reaction's going to be. Yes, if like you're like a giga chat or whatever, super attractive, and you go ahead and say something, you may get away with a little bit more. But even just average Joe, as long as he says things in a non creepy way, you
Mm.
never run into problems.
No,
I
I mean
mean,
the
I
most.
never have. I don't. I
Yeah,
don't know.
the most you're going to get is if they have a boyfriend, they're going to tell you have a boyfriend, but you can say, okay, well that's fine. It was worth the ask. Fist bump and walk away. And you guarantee the next time you see them at the gym or at the grocery store or even around town, they're going to smile and wave at you. They're not going to look at, oh, that's that creep that tried to talk to me. And then once I told him I had a boyfriend, he moved on. That actually impresses girls nowadays.
Yeah, no, that's it's definitely the truth. And it's interesting that you say you don't use apps. Why is that?
Just because of the stigmas that come along with them, I found them out to be true. A lot of, what is the stats? 80% of women swipe on 20% of the men. And for a young guy trying to use dating apps, that can, dude, that can fuck up your confidence, and mess with your psyche to think that, oh man, I can't do that. If I can't find a girl on the app, how am I going to find a girl out there? And it should be the exact opposite. You should be a lot
Mhm.
better at finding person in the wild, so to speak, than hooking up on the apps. Because here's the thing: there's a lot of thirsty guys out there, especially young guys, average guys that don't have pickup artistry, don't have game. The only thing they know to say that for is, oh, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, when they've seen 2 pictures of her, and some of them might be 4 years ago. So it puts their confidence level, rightly so, up here. And then when they get these guys, average guys get rejected, it puts their confidence level down here. So there's a huge gap between the averages of people when they probably are right on the same level playing field as far as looks, status, where they are in life, all that kind of stuff. So the apps have kind of ruined dating for young people, I think, especially young females.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good point, because it's interesting. You know that I do work in the space, and actually I'm a huge proponent of dating apps.
Yeah.
But one of our guys in the Men of Now community has really exploded from that. Like he's not dealing with the the average guy problems anymore, and he's able to force a response and start the interactions, and now going on dates. And it was like out of nowhere. And there's some deeper things that I'm talking about with him, where he, as a very average looking guy at 5'7" with a receding hairline, he's getting 7s, 8s, and 9s matching him and responding to him. It like, dude, it blows my mind. I got all the receipts, and it's all going to be in that next book that we're actually writing together, which is going to be super amazing. And it's an evolution. I'll throw this in the chat. The first text is the first book that I wrote, which is essentially, okay, how do you open on a dating app? And what this member did was essentially take this book, analyze it, and then blend everything together. And by doing so, he was able to create a insane methodology that we are going to be publishing very soon, on how to get literally any girl to respond to you. And then one of the other things that we're going to be talking about, especially later, once we head to the kickback in the private community, we're going to be talking about how to trick the algorithm to raise your ELO. Now, Kevin, do you know what ELO is?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
so. For anybody who doesn't know, ELO is essentially like a rating system that is pulled from chess, where as you beat people, you raise higher up, and as you lose, you go further down. And so these apps actually use an ELO system to rank you. So if you've got a girl that's getting swiped on by everyone, and especially 9s and 10s, at least on their side, then they're going to sit up there. And you, if your ELO is like a 5 or a 6, you may never see her.
Yeah.
But we figured out, this is crazy, dude. We figured out a couple different ways to break the system so it does show you those girls. And then by using the techniques that he has discovered, then it raises your ELO, because you're matching and having conversations with girls way higher ELO than you.
Yeah, and that will actually put you up status. They're going to see you a lot faster as well. So I know, and a lot of them are owned by the same companies nowadays, but they do use that. And I've even heard that some of them, if you actually pay, it lowers your ELO. If you're a paying member, for some of them, some of them might be different. But before we go ahead, Alex, I don't, when I say that I don't use the apps anymore, I'm not pressing in that ideology onto anybody else, especially for young guys. I would say try to do it at least 60-40. Make meet, at least 60% of your women organically, 40% on the apps, or maybe vice versa. But for me, it comes more natural to do it organically. But I know in today's society, apps are pretty much the go-to to find dates and maybe meet somebody special that you can start a relationship with.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things I do like about the apps as well is you can kind of curate the experience. So with those different preferences, you're making sure that you're matching with women that actually align with you. Whatever that may be.
Yeah, and they're not all the thirst traps out there too. I mean, there are actually really good girls and good women on dating apps that are looking for something real. Unfortunately, they got to swim through a sea of creeps and horn dogs and all that, because I've talked to chicks that I've met on dating apps when I was doing that, and the other ones that are on them, they say the stuff that they get from guys is unbelievably crazy. And not even having the balls to say it, just, basically not even having the decency to talk to people in a normal way. And if that had ever worked for those guys, I would highly doubt it. But, the way women get treated on dating apps kind of puts a wall up for them, especially when you get past that 28, 29-year-old and get the people into my demographics, the 40-year-olds and the 30-somethings. There's a huge wall there. And I found that out with women too. So that's a big reason why I stopped using dating apps and went back to what we want to call old school.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I miss the old school days. I really do. Like, I feel like it really was right before the pandemic. It, like in 2017 was like my favorite time to something just fell from the ceiling. Okay.
I was just say, I think you have ghosts because you kind of sputtered a little bit there. So maybe it's something.
I wasn't sure. Maybe I just knocked something off this table without realizing it. So I really miss it. Like, it was like back in 2017 where I was going out like solo on my own. And that was absolutely fantastic. Like, I loved it. And you could meet women at the bars and score that night. No problem. Now, less people go out. So you have less to pick from, less people to meet. And people don't really have the social skills anymore. It's almost like it's almost like we were forced to now have to use this filtering system of like a dating app.
Mm. Yeah. And I think the lockdowns, since they are long gone over, people are kind of still living that lifestyle of, they got used to sitting on the internet and meeting people that way, shooting through DMs. And now that it's all over and you could go back to normal, the new normal that we've created for ourselves has become using apps, using it digitally, talking for 3 weeks over text before actually meeting. And then by that time, you've built such a vision of this person. If they don't meet every single thing that you've envisioned for them after texting 3 or 4 weeks, I mean, it's not a good experience.
Yeah. No, and it oh my God. It really does blow my mind, like how nobody really has those social skills anymore, and everyone just relies on that. They expect their phone to deliver them. I mean, heck, I have my phone deliver me my groceries, so I can understand the convenience, but everyone relies on the phone for everything, and they don't have those social skills anymore. So then when they actually meet up, they can't develop the connection that they would have been able to develop better if they had met in person.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of that has to do with, if I'm texting with a girl, I'm a lot better at communication because I can think about what I want to type before I send it. So I can think of a more witty quip or something funnier to say than if we were talking back and forth. So a lot of people have gotten used to that aspect as well of basically, like I said, the protection wall of the computer screen or the phone, that you don't have to be face to face, where you might not mess up as much on the phone as you would in person, which might throw your confidence off a little. And people have gotten used to that. People prefer that.
Yeah, no, that's true. It definitely feels a lot safer because when you say something wrong in person, whether it be with a romantic or potential romantic partner, or just really, really anybody, and you're really embarrassed by it, you're really embarrassed by it. Whereas when you're able to do it over text, hey, you can take a little bit of time to make sure you're crafting the absolute perfect message.
Yeah. And then, through the text and through the digital world, there's not a connection there. You might build somewhat of a more of attraction, and you might build up a little bit more excitement to meet this person. But then also too, if you do send that wrong text that they don't like, it's so easy for them to say, well, shit, I haven't met this guy yet. He just said something I didn't like. Block, delete, on to the next. And that's men and women can do that. As on the contrary, if you've met in person and you've built up a physical connection, not even sexually, but just being with each other in person, it will be a little bit different to do that because now you have more of an organic type of knowing that girl. But girls can now, oh shit, they're talking to 6 people at the same time anyways. So, if Bob says something that Sherry doesn't like, well, she's got, Steve, Robert, all these other guys, well, fuck him. You know, he didn't say everything perfect, so I'm going to go ahead and block him, and I'll keep talking to these other 6 guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
there's a personal connection and a physical connection that you've made with each other, it makes it a little bit more traditional, if that's the way you want to say it. But then you don't just want to walk away from that person because you know them a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And that's one of the things that I actually teach guys if they do choose to use dating apps, is that I got the 5 for 5. No more than 5 messages from you and 5 messages from her before you guys get on a FaceTime call, because we need to bridge that gap. That's at least closer to meeting in person than just texting back and forth. So you can actually get a feel for the other person. So it's doing the best it can prior to that first date. It's kind of replacing, I guess, what we can do when it comes to not meeting organically. And then when they do that FaceTime, it's almost like their first date, and you can make it like a joke. I used to do that, dude, during lockdown. I used to do that all the time, where I would make a joke that FaceTime was our first date, and then you're creating that connection, and then our second date is when we actually meet in person. And it's just like you're building a story with them.
Yeah, but that's great, Alex, to have a set schedule for yourself. I mean, you don't send them the first text, okay, or first text. I'm sorry. Okay, you got 5, I got 5, and we're gonna FaceTime. But have that in your head. So if you sent 5, she sent 5, invite to a FaceTime. It doesn't have to be that night, but you know. But I was even a little bit different. After the first couple texts we had, when are we gonna meet, or when are we at least gonna talk on the phone? And then I could get a feel for their seriousness out of how they reacted to that. Because some chicks wouldn't even want to talk on the phone, much less FaceTime. It was like, okay, so what are your real intentions here? Are you just trying to get validated? Are you trying to get a little bit of attention? There's plenty of other guys that can do that. I'm not going to be that guy. But I want to see in the comments here, Drock, he wrote, if a girl cancels on you but doesn't offer another day, should you just wait for her to text you again?
The answer to that, no. But Kevin, go ahead and answer first.
I would say basically, yeah, if she doesn't offer another day, yeah, you don't wait for, I mean, she can text you, but I would send a text like this. Okay. You made a date. She flaked. Nothing else. She doesn't even say, you can just say simply, no aggression. Hey, I was really looking forward to meeting you, but it looks like you're not really taking this serious and I'm not into playing games. So if you ever want to get up with me again, you know where to find me. No contact from there. That's something that I would send. Just let her know where you stand with it. And then then the ball is in her court, because you let her know how you feel. It's not aggressive, but just let her, hey, I'm not into playing games. If that's the way you want to do this, that's fine. But if you really want to meet up, you know where to find me. So she knows that you're still engaged in somewhat, but now the ball's in her court. Now she has to come to you if she wants something more.
Absolutely. Perfect. I couldn't have said it better. It's a perfect answer. It's exactly what you need to do. Because if she's not taking it seriously, then why should you?
Yeah, especially if she flakes with no reason or something like that. But even if she flakes with a reason, like 30 minutes before you're supposed to go pick her up, and she flakes, but then there's no contact after that, a day or two later, you can send that same text. And then the ball's in her court, and then lets her know that you're not a doormat that's just going to sit around and wait for her to come to you, because you got other things to do. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, you got to stand up for yourself. So I'm seeing some people file into the kickback. So Drock, if you wanted to join, potentially see this out, Instagram at the Hoodsman. That's the best way to reach me, and I can give you an invite link for tonight's, because we're going to be diving much deeper into text game and kind of how to make it all work for the average guy. But we do need to hop, Kevin.
Yeah. Before we roll, I see we got some people watching. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to do this every Tuesday. It's open bar. There's opportunities for you to jump on the show as well and talk. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. We'd rather you do. But thanks for joining. Give us a comment, give us a like, and subscribe if you haven't. We're new here at the Men of Now, so we're trying to get things going, and appreciate you tuning in.